Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. I saw this video on Twitter, the data behind PSG's dominance this season, insane stats, and I thought to react to it. Let's jump into it.
Every season, there's a handful of clubs people call the best in the world. Usually it's the same names. City, Madrid, Barcelona, maybe Bayern if
Look, this season people have called Barca the best team in the world. They haven't been the best team in the world, one of the best teams in the world since basically since 2017, and then you had that Fugazi 18-19 run. It wasn't Barca, it was Messi. It's PSG. The past 5 seasons, the 4 top teams, it's been clear. It's been Real Madrid, Bayern München, Manchester City, and Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. You can add in a Liverpool as well. These have been the 5 best teams in the world, in Europe as well. So, I don't know what people you're talking to that say Barca and not PSG.
they're rolling, but something's off this year. Games have been chaotic, scores have been wild, dynasties have stumbled, and with
Okay, the first part, crazy games. I don't know about that. Maybe. I think it's more just flickball. I think it's flickball is just chaotic football, and when it goes bad, it goes really bad. You concede 7 goals in the Champions League semi-final. And what was the second thing he mentioned? Oh, dynasties dying. Yeah, Bayern, they died when they sacked Nagelsmann. And then he started dying. And now they're trying to, go uphill with company. City obviously dying out, but they're going to be back and so on.
It's been hard to say who the best team actually is. So I started digging at the numbers. And not just expected goals or possession, but...
I understand he's doing this for a video, but... it's not been hard. Yes, PSG, for a while this season, were not performing at the level, but... ever since November, late October, if you watch PSG consistently, you're yeah, there are other great teams, but not like
all
PSG.
All the metrics that measure performance, progressive passing, shot creation per 90, carries into the final third, and passes per defensive action, just to name a few. And as I spent a frankly embarrassing amount of time scrolling through FPRef, one name kept rising
by the way, the best site in the world.
To the top. And the stats don't just say they're good. They say they're clearly the best team in football right now.
And that's the thing with stats. Look, I think there are 2 stuff when it comes to stats. What most people do that is wrong, they look at stats to get a picture of the game. So let's say PSG play Arsenal. PSG win 1-0. They don't watch the games, the casuals. They watch the stats, and by the stats, they try to build a picture in their head of how the game went. How you meant to use the stats is you watch the game, and then you look at the stats. Because they will fill up the details. Yes, you can see a lot of stuff when you watch a football game, but I think for some stuff you need stats. You need stats, especially for cumulative stats over a Champions League run, as the stats he looked at FBRF. And yes, Paris Saint-Germain, even last season, we were basically dominating all the underlining numbers. And as he is saying, Paris Saint-Germain, according to the underlining numbers and the eye test, clearly the best team in the world.
PSG have been a huge surprise this season, even after losing Mbappe last...
Again, man, it's so... I don't know, every single time these people talk about PSG, it's what do you guys watch? What do you guys talk about? Paris Saint-Germain reached the Champions League semi-finals last season. And yes, Mbappe was part of that team and scored 8 goals, but that's because of the chance we created for him. He actually missed 13 big chances. He only scored 1 goal in the group stage. So if you followed PSG and were completely honest with yourself and didn't go with the propaganda narratives that, oh, Messi, Neymar left, PSG... Messi, Neymar left, we became better. Mbappe left, if you just think mathematically, yeah, they're going to get better, even better. But it was not a surprise for PSG. Maybe you could somewhat say it was a surprise of how bad we were in the beginning of the season. But if you know ball, if you know quality football, you would know that it's definitely not a surprise.
This summer, and struggling at the start of the campaign, Luis Enrique and his squad have somehow turned it around to become the most statistically dominant team in Europe. We all know they're in the Champions League final, and one went away from a historic treble. But what most people don't realize is just how complete they've been under the surface. If we start with team level metrics, it starts to make sense why they're in the position. When you look through Europe's top 5 leagues, PSG have the #1 highest expected goal difference of any club, with plus 1.7. which basically means they're the world's best team at consistently and thoroughly outscoring their opponent. Quite literally the only way to win a football match.
Yeah. I'm just curious, where was Barca? Because I know Bayern is second. Because they always dominate the Bundesliga. Oh, Barca is third. Wow. Wow. That's surprising. Like, Barca has what? 1.27, PSG 1.7. I didn't know we were that much better in the league than Barca.
Basically means they're the world's best team at consistently and thoroughly outscoring their opponent. Quite literally the only way to win a football match. They've also averaged the most points per game across this campaign, with 2.47, again more than any other team in Europe's Big Five. So yes, they're dominant in League 1. But before you mention the Farmers League, the data also holds up when you zoom out. When it comes to the Champions League, PSG are second in tackles and first in ball recoveries and ball recoveries per 90. But what stands out even more is what they do with the ball after winning it back. FB refs per...
You know, we talked about the defensive stats there. That's something that a lot of people underrate PSG. Like, you can take Barca and PSG, for example, two very great offensive sides, probably two the best offensive sides in the Champions League this season. One team is substantially better defensively than the other team. Like, PSG is clearly better defensively than Barca, for example. And that's what makes this Paris Saint-Germain team so dangerous, because usual offensive teams are not that great defensively. But we just saw Paris Saint-Germain go to Anfield, go to Emirates, and get clean sheets like it's nothing.
90 data also shows their first in successful take-ons, second in carries into the final third, first in carries into the penalty area, and first in key passes. That's a full sequence. They recover the ball, progress it, beat their man, and create chances.
Exactly, and that's what makes this Paris Saint-Germain team so great. If we compare it to the 2020 PSG, it's the off the ball. This team is the best team on the ball, clearly, and is the best team in the world off the ball. That's what makes Paris Saint-Germain so good, because we can play the way the opponent wants us to play. You want to sit back, we will cook you with passes. You want to attack us, you want to press us, we can play that game too.
It's not just a well-balanced team, it's a complete system. Every phase links into the next, and the numbers back it all up. But if you're still not convinced, PSG also ranked first in FOTMob's team rating for the Champions League, a metric that blends expected goals, assists, duels, dribbles, recoveries, and more into one overall performance score. And what happens when you take all of that pressing, progression, and chance creation and feed it into a predictive model? Well, even the Opta supercomputer is leading their way. After running 10,000 simulations of the PSG-Inter final next Saturday, it gave Luis Enrique's side a 53.4% chance of lifting the trophy.
You know, I've been very respectful because it's a Champions League fan, but I think it should be a little bit higher.
For a one-off match between two elite sides, that's a meaningful edge. Even the machine is betting on the Parisians. But it's not just that PSG are dominant as an overall team. They're statistically elite at every single level of the pitch. Break the team down by lines, and you'll find elite metrics in every one of them. Let's start at the back with the fullbacks. Hakimi and Nuno Mendes aren't just...
Wait. You know, I used to look at Trent and Robertson when they were at Liverpool. I'd be like, oh, I want these two fullbacks. I used to have like Munir and Bernat back then. Shout out to Bernat. But we got Hakimi, you know, like, is this the best win combo of all time? We got what? Like Alaba Lam, Bayern. That's the best one. Madrid. Like Carvajal, Marcelo, Dani Alves, Abidal. Dani Alves, Jordi Alba. That's a great one, actually.
Good. They're pretty much the two most well-rounded, high-output fullbacks in world football right now. According to FBref, Hakimi ranks in the 97th percentile or higher compared to all fullbacks across Europe's top 5 leagues for progressive carries, progressive passes, non-penalty expected goals, and shot-creating actions, meaning he outperforms at least 97% of fullbacks in each one of those categories. Off the ball, he's aggressive in transition and constantly available as an outlet, and on the ball, he's basically a winger with elite passing range. His closest statistical matches, Theo Hernandez, Alejandro Grimaldo, and Bradley Barcola, a left winger. I can't even imagine how hard Madrid are kicking themselves for letting him...
Yeah, no, Hakimi... Then you add in the energy levels that he can do this for 90 plus minutes, for 120 minutes. Like, sensation.
Him go back in 2020. On the opposite flank, Nuno Mendes is a physical monster. While his attacking numbers are slightly more modest than Hakimi's, his ball progression and duel stats are still off the charts. He ranks in the 95th percentile for expected goals plus assists, 95th for successful take-ons, and his mix of aggressiveness and explosive speed make him one of the best 1v1 defenders in his position. But
I think he's the best 1v1. Can't think of a better 1v1 defender than Nuno.
here's the wildest part. In FBref's similarity model, the player who most closely resembles Mendes is Hakimi,
Wow,
and vice
Hakimi.
versa. Two fullbacks who play on opposite sides of the pitch and who are almost identically elite. That's not chemistry, that's Swiss clockwork in a French watch. When it comes to the midfield, their statistics are just as dominant. In Vitinha and João Neves, PSG have two midfielders who are unusually comfortable on the ball, can resist almost any press, and are always scanning for ways to progress play without losing shape. Vitinha might not be flashy, but he's the oil in PSG's engine. His numbers are elite across the board, ranking in the 100th percentile for long pass completion, 99th percentile for progressive passes received, 99th for carries, and 99th for short and
I mean, that's absolutely insane. I mean, absolutely insane. And you know, Vitinha, you know, PSG, I would say system. I would say Vitinha, Hakimi, Dembouz, the most crucial system players. But if I had to pick one, Vitinha, I think. Vitinha is so crucial for the system that we have. And, you know, it's not coincidence that the best performances are usually when he's at his
His
best.
closest statistical comparisons are Joshua Kimmich, Luka Modric, and Angelo Stiller, players who define
Great
structure
company.
and tempo at the highest level. And it tracks. Vitinha keeps the ball moving with ease, and his dribbling and close control allow him to sustain pressure and operate as a deep-lying playmaker with total composure. Next to him, João Neves is just as dominant. But
Yeah,
his
because what basically Luis Enrique's side is basically a team full of attackers. Nuno Mendes came through the academy as a left winger. Hakim has played a lot of his career as a right winger. Vitinha is more of an offensive midfielder. But Vitinha's playing deeper, Hakimi Nuno's playing deeper, which basically means you have so many technical players that, you know, have trained in recent years to be better in defensive areas, but are at their best in the offensive sector. So when we push the opposition to, you know, their back, we basically have eight attackers against their team instead of only 3 or 4.
slightly different ways. Much like Vitinha, he's also in the top 10 percentile for through balls, progressive passing, and pass completion rate, but contributes more to defensive actions, duel success, and touches in the penalty area. Neves isn't just balanced, he's off the chart efficient on both sides of the ball. His statistical comparisons include Bruno Fernandes, Bellingham, and again Luka Modric, proof
Shout out to FBRF, they're usually a great sidebar. Yeah, those comparisons were awful. I mean, João Neves is probably, the best one I could say is Marco Verratti. Just a complete Swiss Army knife, can do absolutely everything, absolutely insane off the ball. So he's like a mixture of an N'Golo Kante defensively and trying to think of like a powerhouse midfielder. That's like a midget as well, because Kante was one. Can't think of one. Because he has a great shot, great playmaking, even great pace as well.
Control, creativity, and intensity really is.
Yeah.
Together, their numbers don't just suggest balance. They scream elite output in all directions. It's not quite Xavi and Iniesta 2.0, but watching these two Portuguese midfielders.
I mean, it is Xavi. Obviously, it's not at the level, but what? João Neves is 20, Vitinha is 24. You know what? If I don't like to do the age thing, okay? I don't like to do the age thing. Like, oh, this guy is better than this. It's like saying Yamal at 17 is better than, take someone that was a little bit of a lit. Not like Yamal, let's take another one. Nwaneri. Nwaneri at 17 is better than Zlatan Ibrahimovic at 17. I don't like to do that kind of stuff because it don't fucking matter, man. It don't fucking matter. I don't care Zlatan 17. The sport has just changed to pushing in more youngsters. It's not really about talents. It's more about opportunities. Okay? But João Neves as a 20-year-old, I think he's better than Xavi and Iniesta as 20-year-olds. If we're going to play that game, they love to play that game. Oh, Yamal as a 17 is better than Neymar as 17 because Neymar played against Brazilian farmers. It's all about opportunities, not about talent, sure, but I'm going to play the same. I think João Neves is better than Iniesta and Xavi when they were 19. So in 20.
Midfielders control the tempo brings a real sense of nostalgia for the golden era of possession dominance.
Yep.
When it comes to the front line,
Hey.
PSG are just as statistically proficient and much
Hey,
more
hey,
dangerous.
hey,
But
the sexiness.
has quietly become one of the most efficient wide forwards in Europe this season, especially for his age. He ranks in the 95th percentile or higher for progressive carries, touches in the final third, and take-ons attempted. And when you combine expected goals and expected assists per 90, he's in the 99th percentile. He's not just running down the wing and hoping for something. He can create danger almost anytime he touches the ball in the final third. On the other side, you have Ousmane Dembele, who's even more unpredictable in the best way possible. He's in the top 1% for successful take-ons and carries into the penalty area, and he's among the best in Europe for shot-creating actions. He is messy and sometimes risky, but statistically, he's an absolute nightmare to defend. And I'm truly sorry.
Left foot, right foot, can score, can play make, can dribble, can hold on to the ball, can pass it back. I mean, I don't think there's a more complete forward. Like, from our generation, I can only say Messi and Neymar are more complete forwards, attackers than Dembele. I don't think anyone has that arsenal. I don't think Ronaldo has that arsenal. He's an elite goal scorer, not a great playmaker. Towards the end, majority of his time, not a great dribbler.
But they also have the best goalkeeper in the world. And
yes,
that's
sir.
Not just my opinion. According to the CIES Football Observatory, which ranks goalkeepers based on save percentage relative to expected goals on target, Gianluigi Donnarumma is #1 globally, ahead of Sommer, Oblak, and even Courtois. So just to recap, PSG have the best expected goal difference in the world, an elite fullback pairing, a midfield that controls games like metronomes, 2 wide attackers who generate...
I don't know, he's called Dembouz a winger in this entire thing? Come on, man. You've done a lot of great research. Shout out to you, DF. You've done a lot of great research, but majority of the season, Dembouz has not been a winger. I don't know how early this video was made, but...
generate chaos for fun.
Yeah, no Khvicha, no do it.
On the planet.
But I mean, he got Arsenal clips, so...
full flight, and we've seen them put all of...
And he said it. We have the best goalkeeper in the world. We have the best right back in the world. We have the best left back in the world. We have the best midfield in the world. We have the best attack in the world. He obviously didn't talk about our 2 center backs because I would say they are doing the least impressive in the team. I say they are the most swappable players, and that's not to disrespect, especially Pacho. But it's just the other players, they do so much. They've been so crucial. And the best manager in the world, and the best team in the world. Just the best. Either eye test or stats, they will tell you the same thing. The only thing that will disagree with PSG being the best team in the world and having the best players in the world is your agenda.
These ideas into practice against some of Europe's best teams. Against Liverpool in March, they completely shut down Arne Slot's tactics, keeping...
I mean, we made Liverpool in that first game look like a third-tier side. In the second game at Anfield in the Champions League, 1-0 down, we went there and had a great game.
54% possession and out-shooting them by a significant margin. And against Arsenal, they didn't just win. They dismantled one of the most cohesive defensive blocks in the tournament by...
Exactly. Like, that's something people are not talking about. All of our knockout rounds, apart from the Brest one, Arsenal was the easiest one. Liverpool could have been easier if he scored goals, you know, in that first leg when we were dominating, maybe. Villa should have... I mean, Villa was easy. In my opinion, we beat them 5-1. I don't care about that fugaziness. But Arsenal, as you're saying, the best, like, defensively oriented side and all of that, and we made them look like fools, man.
By turning the game into a series of 1v1 duels, they knew they'd win. Now, it all comes down to one game. PSG are a step away from a historic treble and their first ever Champions League title. Statistically, they've done everything right. Tactically, they've evolved. And individually, this team is younger, deeper, and more complete than any PSG side we've seen before. Their average age is just 23.6.
And you know, that's the scariest thing. It's like Pep Centurion City side. If they won the UCL, they would have been way more scarier because that means they would have had the experience for the upcoming seasons. This Paris Saint-Germain team, if it can win the Champions League when it's only 23.6 average age, we don't even have to say we'll win every time, but we'll be competing. We'll be in a Champions League semi-final for the upcoming 5 to 10 seasons. Luis Enrique just extended. Luis Campos just extended. And the majority of players are under strong contracts. We have so much money as well.
Youngest team to reach the UCL round of 16 this season. And that might just be the scariest part. Because even if they don't crown themselves this year, this team isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
Exactly. Exactly. Luis Enrique extended, Campos extended. The players are on great contracts. It's scary, but not for us. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video on why Paris Saint-Germain is the best team in the world. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, allez, allez Paris.